Welcome. Today, we are not here to talk about happiness in the way it is usually presented to you. This is not a motivational speech filled with loud promises or shallow encouragement. Today, we are stepping into the quiet life of a man who appeared to have everything on the outside, yet felt empty on the inside. His name is Jack. He is not a celebrity, not a billionaire, not someone the world would ever place on a magazine cover. He does not drive a luxury car, and he does not have millions of people watching his life online. But his story is more powerful than most success stories you will ever hear. Because Jack carried something that millions of people carry silently: an invisible sadness. The kind that does not scream, the kind that does not collapse you in public, the kind that does not announce itself. It simply sits inside you, quietly draining your joy, your energy, and your sense of meaning. This is not just his story. It may be yours too. So listen carefully, not with distraction, but with honesty. Somewhere inside these words, you may find a reflection of your own life. And if you're searching for stories that challenge the way you think, that grow both your mind and your English, then you're in the right place. Subscribe, stay with this message, and allow this to be more than just another video. Let it become a moment of awareness that stays with you long after the screen goes dark. My name is Jack, and I still remember that night with complete clarity. It was a Thursday evening in winter, the kind of cold night when the world seems quieter and people sit inside warm homes with family, sharing meals and conversations. But I was alone. I had just finished dinner, a dry microwave meal that I barely tasted. I turned off the television, and the sound in my apartment disappeared. In that silence, something unexpected happened. I did not feel pain. I did not feel sadness. I felt emptiness, a strange, hollow stillness that I could not explain. I sat there staring at the walls of my apartment. From the outside, my life looked completely fine. I had a good job. I had money in my bank account. I had contacts in my phone. I had new shoes delivered that very morning. Everything that society told me should make me feel secure was present. And yet something inside me felt missing. For the first time in years, I noticed it, and I asked myself a question that quietly changed the direction of my life. If my life looks fine, why don't I feel fine? For most of my adult life, I had done exactly what I was told I should do. I graduated. I found a job. I worked hard. I earned money. I became responsible. I smiled in photos. I told people, I'm good. I played the role well. I knew how to look successful, how to appear stable, how to function in the world without causing concern. But that night, sitting in that silence, I felt like a stranger inside my own body. I looked around my apartment. Everything was exactly where it should be. Laptop on the table, coffee mug beside the bed, phone charging, curtains half closed. It all looked organized, clean, and correct. Yet none of it felt truly mine. I was living, but I was not alive. I had not laughed from the heart in months. I had not woken up excited in years. I had not felt free since I was a teenager. Every day followed the same pattern. Wake up, check my phone, go to work, eat, scroll, sleep. Over time, I had stopped dreaming. I had stopped feeling. I had stopped asking myself the most important question of all. Am I okay? Because the truth was I wasn't. The hardest part was the guilt. A voice inside me kept saying that other people had it worse, that I had food, shelter, health, and a job, so I had no right to feel empty. It told me to be grateful and stop thinking. But I was not complaining. I was confused. had followed the path that society promised would lead to fulfillment, yet inside, I felt disconnected from my own life. It was not depression in the way people often imagine it. It was something quieter, something more subtle. It was disconnection. I was not broken. I was detached from myself, from my emotions, from the present moment. Like a phone that shows a full battery but has no signal, I was functioning but not truly connected. That night I did something I had not done in years. I did not pick up my phone. I did not escape into a screen. I simply sat in the silence and allowed it to speak, and it did. It told me the truth I had been avoiding for a long time. I was not living. I was surviving. I did not cry. I did not write anything dramatic. I did not share a quote online. I made one quiet promise to myself. I would find out what happiness actually meant. Not what people say it is. Not what movies portray. Not what social media advertises, but what it truly meant for me. That was the night my journey began. Not toward more money, not toward higher status, not toward external success. It began towards something far rarer and far more valuable. Peace, clarity, and real happiness. A happiness that is not loud, not dependent on achievement, and not fragile. For most of my life, I had believed something without ever questioning it. I believed that happiness comes later. Later, when life becomes easier. Later, when problems disappear. Later, when I finally become successful enough. From childhood, we are taught a simple rule. First struggle, then succeed, then be happy. Happiness becomes something you earn, not something you experience. Finish your studies first, then enjoy. Work hard now. Happiness will come later. Sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. Slowly, we learn to postpone ourselves. We learn to say, not now, later. And over time, later becomes a habit, a lifestyle, a way of thinking. We do not choose unhappiness, but we delay happiness so often that we forget how to recognize it when it appears. I never woke up thinking I did not want to be happy. I woke up thinking that once I fixed this part of my life, I would finally relax. So I kept fixing things. When I was a student, I told myself I would be happy after I graduated. After graduating, I said I would be happy once I got a job. After getting the job, I said I would be happy after a promotion. After the promotion, after more money. After more money. After everything finally felt stable. But stability never arrived. The moment one problem ended, another replaced it. Life never paused and said, now it's your turn to be happy. One day, I realized something painful. I was always preparing for life, but I was not actually living it. My mind was always in the future, planning, fixing, worrying, calculating. I was treating happiness like a destination on a map, but the destination kept moving. This way of thinking is dangerous because it teaches you that the present moment is never enough. Even when life is okay, you feel unsatisfied. Even when nothing is wrong, you feel restless. Even when you achieve something meaningful, you feel empty again. Not because achievement is worthless, but because you never allow yourself to feel complete. You immediately move the finish line. You convince yourself that you must earn the right to be at peace. I realized that happiness had become conditional in my mind. As long as something was missing, I told myself I did not deserve to feel good yet. But conditions are never perfect. The pressure was not coming from my boss, my family, or society. It was coming from inside my own head. A quiet, constant voice saying, you should be more. You should be further ahead. You should be better by now. One morning changed everything. Not because something extraordinary happened, but because nothing happened. I woke up earlier than usual by mistake. The sky outside was dark blue. The city had not started yet. For the first time in years, I did not reach for my phone. I did not rush. I simply sat and looked out of the window. Nothing in my external life improved that morning. No one praised me. No opportunity appeared. And yet, I felt something I had not felt in a very long time. Peace. Not excitement. Not motivation. Just a deep stillness inside my chest. And in that silence, I realized something that shook me. Most of my pain was not coming from life itself. It was coming from the way I thought about life. I was not tired of living. I was tired of my mind. My thoughts were always running, judging, comparing, worrying, replaying the past, imagining the future. Even in moments of rest, I could not actually rest. My body was still, but my mind was racing. But in that quiet hour, when my thoughts finally slowed, I felt free. I understood something simple and powerful. Happiness does not need to be created. It returns naturally when the noise disappears. I was never broken. I was simply buried under layers of overthinking, fear, guilt, and the need to prove myself. I had been fighting everything: time, people, circumstances, and myself. No wonder I was exhausted. When I stopped fighting, peace appeared. I did not quit my job. I did not move to another city. I did not change my entire life overnight. I started with one small habit. Every morning, I gave myself 10 minutes of silence. No phone, no pressure, no distractions. At first, it felt uncomfortable. My mind resisted stillness, but after a few days, something changed. The constant noise inside me began to soften. I realized something that changed my understanding of life. Happiness is not something you chase. It is something you uncover. We do not lack happiness. We live in a way that covers it up. We are too busy, too distracted, too pressured, too disconnected from ourselves. That morning, I did not add anything to my life. I simply removed the noise. And happiness returned, not as excitement, but as a sense of home. Over time, I discovered something even deeper. Most people say they want happiness, but very few are truly ready for it. We are trained to struggle, to hustle, to survive. No one teaches us how to be at peace with ourselves. So when peace arrives, it feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. Our minds return to what is familiar, not what is healthy. If stress is familiar, we return to stress. If overthinking is familiar, we return to overthinking. I was addicted to worry, guilt, and control. I believed that anxiety meant I was being responsible, that if I stopped worrying, I would become careless, but all anxiety did was steal the present moment from me in advance. I was destroying my peace before anything bad even happened. One evening, I saw the truth clearly. No one else was responsible for my happiness. I had been waiting for life, for success, for love, for some external event to finally make me feel whole. But happiness was never the world's job. It was mine. If you do not feel worthy inside, you will reject peace even when it arrives. I had to stop blaming circumstances and start taking responsibility for my inner world. Not in a motivational way, not like a quote on a wall, but deeply. I stopped outsourcing my joy. I stopped waiting. I took responsibility for my peace. And that changed everything. I slept better. I stopped overreacting. I felt lighter. I smiled more. Not because I was pretending, but because I was finally present. Taking responsibility did not make life easier, but it gave me something far more powerful: freedom. My happiness became my project. My peace became my home. For a long time, I believed happiness would feel dramatic. Fireworks, constant excitement, big moments of joy. But I was wrong. After all the struggle, all the thinking, and all the silence, I discovered the real secret. Happiness does not explode. It whispers. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It simply arrives when you stop postponing yourself and finally allow yourself to live. If this message reached your heart, don't let it end here. Take a moment to reflect on what you just heard. Your life is not waiting for the future. It is happening right now. You don't need to become someone else to deserve peace. You only need to stop running from yourself and start choosing your inner truth. This is Motivational Mentor, where we don't just talk about growth, we live it. If this story helped you even a little, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Motivational Mentor for more powerful stories on mindset, discipline, and real transformation. Stay strong, stay aware, and remember, your peace is your responsibility.